Alrighty guys, welcome to my first YouTube video. Today we're just going to be going over some concert visuals, how to make just like a simple VJ loop. Plan to make just this YouTube channel to kind of document my growth personally as a content creator, like visuals, graphics, anything. And also, while I've been learning Blender, like looking for tutorials and stuff, once in a while there's been some stuff that I personally couldn't find, so I figure if I learn it, I can make a tutorial on it and it'll help someone else. So yeah, these aren't gonna be like super advanced. They're pretty beginner. I'm still pretty beginner, but it's just what I can share. I'll try to walk along and walk through what I'm doing while I do it. So yeah. Alrighty, so right here is my content Instagram where I post stuff that I've made, some of the stuff I've made. Today, this is kind of the thing we're going to be tackling. This is a little bit edited. I ran it through Premiere already to do some visuals with a song I added to it, but we're just going to kind of do something basic. If you want to give me a follow, hey, almost, well, I hit 60. Hey, I was at 59 last I checked. So, if you want to put me at 61, yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, let's be homies.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
So today we're going to be working on like a VJ loop, like a loop pack for concert visuals or anything like that. It's pretty easy to come up with like a good 3 or 4 loops that all can be used interchangeable with drops and different parts of the concert. So yeah, let's get into it. This is our scene right here. I'm gonna assume that you know just how to like navigate around Z-space and that kind of stuff. If not, there's a bunch of great tutorials. The donut, I recommend. The donut is great. If I remember, I'll link that down below. We all start with the donut. We don't all finish the donut. I didn't finish the donut. Other great tutorials, Ducky 3D. That's pretty much how I learned everything. His videos are just over the top. He's great. So if you can follow along with those, perfect. I'm going to try to say everything I'm doing out loud kind of while I do it. Just, yeah, so. Alright, let's start with click and drag, and we're just going to delete our whole scene. And there's a couple ways we can start. I like to use, let's see, an icosphere right here. So I did Shift A and then meshes, and you can just pick whatever. So yeah, icosphere. So with this guy, let's give him, let's click here on the subdivisions, and let's go, the more subdivisions you give it is going to be like the more squares, or I mean triangles, my bad. And it's just smaller, more detail. Let's go 3. Let's just see what that looks like. So I'm gonna click S10, enter. That'll make it nice and big for us. And now let's see. If I go over here to the modifiers, this little wrench, let's go wireframe. And perfect. See what we get here? Get this interesting. And now if we mess with this thickness right here, we're going to go up or down. So let's go a little smaller. How about 0.015? I like that. Alrighty. So now we can go and click Shift A, and right here we can get a camera. And that's right in the middle of our scene. So now if we click 0 on the keypad, that takes us to our camera view. A little shortcut there. So right here in our rotations, we can set the y-axis to 0, we can set the z-axis to 0, and then we can set the x to 90. So what that's going to do is give us just a straight out view, just like that. And then if we're going to add objects to make this more interesting, we're probably going to add them to the middle, so we can pull our camera back on the y-axis. If we hold control, it makes it like exact. Let's go -8 and see where that puts us. Yeah, see now, since we did scaling to 10, that put us out on the diameter, radius, one of those. It's 10 out from the center on each side, so that's what I mean. So now if we go -8, it's going to be -8 squares back from the center. So that's 2 away from our edge. So that's what we're looking at right here in our camera view. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and add our centerpiece here that our camera is going to be focusing on. Let's go Shift A, and let's see, let's add a torus. And it looks like I had a square set up last. I like that. See, right here on the major segments, if we change this to, say, we could do 3. See, it makes it a triangle, so that's 3 points. We could do 5. We could do, I think it starts for a torus at 48. Yep, see, that's a perfect circle. But let's go back to 4. I like that. And then let's rotate this guy towards the camera. Let's go 90 degrees, enter. So if we click 0, that shortcut, and we'll go back and we'll see it right here. Okay, so now let's go Shift D, and that duplicates and creates another one. But if we just click the right mouse key, it'll just go back to its original spot, and then it'll stay highlighted on that one. So let's just rename these Square 1 and Square 2. Alrighty. Now on Square 1, the one that we just had, let's rotate it, let's see, 40 degrees. Oops. There we go. Oh, my silliness. 45, actually. Not the best at math, but we make it work. We make it work. Alright, so we've got this interesting little thing set up here. Now on our timeline here, let's go to the beginning, and let's start animating this. Important thing for loops is you want to go into your Edit, Preferences, go to Animation, and you want to make sure that your default interpolation is set to linear. So let's save these preferences. Hopefully it'll always stay like that. Blender's finicky. Speaking of Blender being finicky, I should have mentioned this earlier. Let's go ahead and save, because Blender will just crash all the time and you will lose all of your progress. It'll pull your hair out and you will go to bed thinking, I'm never touching this software again, and then you wake up in the morning and you'll have so many ideas and you'll be back on the computer. But then you're going to be saving. It'll happen once or twice and then you're going to save nonstop. It's going to happen. So let's save. I've got it right here in my saved Blender compositions. So let's just go YT I can't spell, tutorial 1. Okay, save that there. Alright, so we're at the very beginning of our timeline here on frame 1. So let's just go ahead and keyframe by clicking that little square there every single one of the rotation axes. And then we're going to go to the very end, and then we're going to click over one space, or one frame. Or just can click the arrow button on the keyboard to do that, and what that does is makes it so when the video is rendering, it renders like one frame past, so that it makes a seamless loop, so that you don't see like a cut basically in your animation. Sorry, I was making noises over there. I don't want that. Alright, so now that we're at the very end, let's just set all of these to 360, 360, that is not 360, 360, and 360. Keyframe, keyframe, keyframe. Alrighty, so we can see now that that is just rotating around now. And when it gets to the end of our timeline, it should just click right through. Boom. There it goes. So let's go to these now. Let's do the same thing. So see how there's these numbers right there? If we're trying to do math to do animations, those numbers can get a little wonky because we don't need to know them anymore. So let's highlight both of them. We should put Control A, all transforms. So that should have taken, yep, see, it eliminated both of them. Sometimes when you've got two objects selected in Blender and you try to do two things at once, it doesn't do it to both of them, but looks like it worked there. I'm sure there's a reason for that. I'm sure people that are senior pros with 3D would know why. I've been doing this for about 6 months, so Woo! Alright, so now we're going to start with our top object here. And we're going to set a keyframe right here on that Y. So that's the one that's going to make us spinny. And then that's not 0, so we can Control Z. That puts us back. So let's go to the very end and click 1 past 240. Remember, always 1 past. And let's just set this to 360 degrees of rotation, because that is a full rotation. We would have to do units of 360. So if we wanted it to rotate faster in the whole time of this scene, the whole 10 seconds at 240 frames, we'd have to go and set it to 720, because then it would get 2 360s done in that amount of time we set in the time lane. Math. Woo! Alright, so let's see how fast it goes. Yeah, it's fine. I'm fine with that for now. We might change it later. We'll see what happens. And we're gonna set this on the second one, and let's go ahead and keyframe at 0. Click to the end like we did before, click 1 past, and then this time we're gonna go negative 360. That's gonna make it spin the other direction. And we'll keyframe that, so let's see what we get. I like it. I like it. At the very end, when we're doing final composition, we might speed it up a little bit, but I'm liking this. Oops, let's see. If we click this right here, it'll take away our selection, our highlight. Yeah, that's fire. I'm a fan. All right, so let's go back. Let's go and get an image for this. Let's get something entertaining. So if we go on the internet, and we can go to CG Trader right here. So let's just search skull. Oops, I misspelled. Let's see what we get. Alright, so this comes with a bunch of just free meshes, or I mean meshes. You can buy some of these, but I mean, Let's go and click free. These are some of all the things that we can download and implement into our loop that we're making. Let's go and get something simple. Just a basic skull. Alright, I like this one. I think that I actually already have this skull downloaded. And so let's just import that. You can go right here to File, Import. I usually try to get mostly OBJs, because those are the ones that I know work. I've been doing this 6 months. So let's go New Volume. Let's go Blender File. That's where I keep my... Oh, there we go. Blenders, my files, I mean. And then I keep models in here. Let's see. These are all my exports and stuff. There we go. Here's that skull I've got. So let's import it. Okay, so it imported gigantic. So let's scale that down. S on the keyboard. Let's go back to 0. Let's go S again. Okay, so let's leave camera view. So nice. So it's facing straight right now already. Let's just go ahead and look at that. How centered does that look in our composition? We might want to go a little bit up actually. So let's click right here. Click those back on. So right here on our Z-axis, let's see what happens if we just go a tiny bit. Let's go 0.05. Oops. Let's see, 0.05. There we go. Let's see if that looks better. Yeah, I like that a little more. Perfect, I'm a fan. Alrighty, so now we're gonna make it cool. We're gonna do shading. So let's go over to the rendered view. So if we hold down Z, and we can click 8, or we can drag our mouse up to this rendered arrow. That's what our scene would actually look like if we were to render this right now. We're going to be doing this in the Eevee engine, because if we were to cycle or render this in the Cycles engine, it would crash our computer or take forever, because this is a little bit more heavy labor. Alright, so these are the magic buttons. Makes everything look better. Go ambient occlusion, bloom, screen space reflections, motion blur if you want it. Kind of depends on the composition you're making. And then color management, I always go very high contrast. See how it already did all those different things to our composition? And there's like literally no shading. This is just an empty, foggy world. We could add an HDRI if we want, or we could just set this down to black. I'm gonna go like that though, so we can Control Z so we can still see everything just for now. Okay, so let's click on the shading tab right here. And this is like the layout for the shading, but if we get this little square guy right here, if you hold it in the edge, you'll make this plus. We can drag to the side and make these what we want. Actually though, I'm gonna set this up so that we can get the best amount of camera viewage. Haha, cool. Alright, so let's click 0 here. This is a different view. We want to go back to, yeah, that's material preview. We want to go to rendered again. So let's just start with our outside cage that we got. Let's click new here. And right now, let's actually drag this up so we can see better. Right now we've got a principled BSDF. We don't want that. We're going to do an emission. So we're going to go Shift A, search, emission. These are how you do glowing lights. So let's just keep it white for now. We don't really know what colors we want to go with. Let's pump this guy up to 10. Interesting, interesting. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off, the highlighter off right now, because we don't really need that. Let's see what happens when we do. We could just basically click down on this and do the same material we've already got, but then it would like change whenever we change that original one. So we want to do our own new one. So another Shift A to search, emission. We're gonna go into surface here. We'll set it to 10 again. And then we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna repeat. Delete that guy, Shift A, search, emission. Plug emission into surface. 10 strength. Alright, so let's see what happens when we push play on this. It's interesting. I like it still. Alright, so let's do something else with our skull here. Let's go ahead and, instead of deleting the skull, let's pump him up metallic, very metallic, and let's drop our roughness to about, how low do we want to go? What looks good? Let's go 0.1. I like 0.1. Might change it later. We'll see. Clear coat. Nah, let's leave clear coat down. Yeah, let's just see how we like that. Okay, so now if we go and drop our world back down to 0, we get that. It's pretty cool. Alright, so let's just try something. I am going to try to do a volumetric shader really quick. So we're going to do cube S12. So if we go back to our solid view, we can see that's our cube that we just made, and our whole scene is inside of it. So now if we go back, clicking on our cube, click new, Shift A, principled volume. Alright, we'll delete that one, and we're going to put volume to volume. And then, if we go back to our rendered view, and we pump the density up, we don't want to disappear. We see that it kind of makes like this fog almost. Yeah, see that? We go 0.1, yeah, there's like volumetric fog now. Not fog, but it makes our, I don't know how to describe it, but it kind of shades, or it kills the brightness a little bit. Doesn't make it so overwhelming. Alright. I hope that made sense. That could very well be a blooper. Okay, so let's go and see what colors we like.
I'm kind of feeling blue and orange. Blue and orange sound fun. So let's see what those look like. Ooh, that's funky. I like that. Ooh. Or maybe... We could color match, or we could go red. Or we could keep it white.
Oh yeah, I like that a lot. That's pretty sick. Alright, so now, let's go back to our layout. Let's see, let's click on our camera. Yes, let's click on our camera and let's see what happens when we... So when we click with our, when we mess with our focal length here, it basically shows less or more of our whole space we got going here. So I'm actually liking this look of showing the whole entire space. So I'm gonna set it to 14. But now see our whole thing, our whole composition down there is like so far away. So let's select all of it. Actually, if I can't reach, let's do that, and let's go S. Oh, see, now this is what I was talking about earlier. Oh, it's because I unselected it. That is user error. So let's make sure we get all of it selected. What is going on? There we go. All of it selected. Gotta go control click, not shift click. My bad. Let's drag all of this up. I like that. There we go. I like that. And then I'm actually, I think, I'm going to go back to shading, and I'm going to make this even brighter. I'm going to try 50. Okay, 50, but then let's go back to our density. Let's go 0.2. Okay. Kind of liking that, but I want to bring up a little bit of color on our skeleton here. So I'm just gonna add in a light really quick. So Shift A, got a light right here. Let's click an area light. Ooh. Oh my, I think that just did something that I am loving. So I'm actually gonna delete that. Shift A, and we're gonna do a point light. And then right here, let's see if we click our camera view. Go back to layout. If we mess with this at all, is it changing? Oh yes, okay. So, we're gonna do a little interesting thing. So see how we've basically got that light coming out of its skull now? I had set a light that I wanted to show onto the skull, but that just... sometimes you get happy little accidents. Happy little accidents. I like that look a lot more than trying to shine an area light towards the reflection, like the chrome skull. I'd much rather do this right here and have the lights coming out of the empty skull, so... that's what we're gonna go with. I don't know if I like that color though. Let's see. A dark purple would be quite funky. So would this red. I'm actually liking that purple though. We're gonna go purple. Then I'm actually thinking, let's click. We don't always have to go to the shading tab. We can also click this materials tab right here if we don't have like a ton of geometry node system going. I think I'm gonna go purple on this here too, but I'm gonna go a light purple. A light purple. Yes, like this. I like that. Yeah. Oh, it's like wiggling around. There we go. Okay, and then instead of orange, what if we go, ooh, oh, that's funky. I like that. That's nice. A little darker on the blue here. Booming. There we go. I like that. And then let's go 3 50 on our skull here. No, let's try 4. 4. Alrighty, let's render this bad boy. So let's click here to our output. Right here is a 24 is our frames per second. That is how many seconds go by for every frame. So 24 frames go in 1 second. So by the end of these 240 frames at 24 a second, we will have gone, it'll be about 10 seconds. I think it's 10 seconds exactly. So for better quality, you can up this, but just know a lot of social media platforms like Instagram won't let you upload above 30, I believe. I think 30 FPS is the best that they can do. But when you're doing like concert visuals, if you are gonna like be selling these to someone or using them for your own concert, you want to do 60. That'll make it a little bit more manipulatable in like Resolume or other VJ softwares. So yeah, so if you're gonna try to upload this to your personal social medias, I'd say 30, 24 for what we did for the math, because you're gonna have to do different math for 30 frames a second. You know, you're gonna have to add those up to get your 10 seconds. But I'm just gonna keep it at 24. Let's see. So right here, if we click this, that's where we're gonna be saving our output to. So I click right here, I click VJ clips. We'll just call this, same thing we named the competition, YouTube tutorial 1. Save that, and then right here in our file format, we want to go FFmpeg video, and then our color management we set already, so it's still very high contrast. And then in the encoding, we want to go MPEG 4. That's like video. And then in the quality output, perceptually lossless. Always perceptually lossless. Alrighty, and then we'll just go render and render animation. See you at the end. Right, now that that is done, we can just close this guy. And now, like I was saying in the beginning, we want to make like, if we want to make a whole pack to like sell or like give our buddies for a concert, do it for our own concert, we can just change the colors and have an entirely new composition that like whatever VJ can just swap to during a concert on Resolume or whatever software they're using, and just cycle through their deck, and you can have multiple different, they can always change one single clip's color with like hue saturation and stuff, but sometimes it's nice just to have like multiple clips of the same frame or same composition but different color schemes. You can do a lot with that. You can layer them next to each other, lots of fun stuff. So let's go here to render our next one. This is very important. We want to add 0.2, so 1.2 to our whole thing, because if we don't do that, if we start rendering again, it will copy over our previous render, and we don't want that because that will suck. So let's see. In this one, I'm not going to click over to the shading tab again. I'm just going to stay here on the materials, so we can just see everything right here. For our next color scheme, what sounds fun? I kind of want to do pink. Pink would be sick. Okay, so let's do pink, and then let's make that, yeah, dark, crazy neon pink. Let's make this, ooh, maybe like a good neon turquoise blue. Ooh, yeah, I like that. And then we can make this one, I like that. I just kind of like those two blues. Ooh, I like that too. See, you run into, you can just end up rendering a ton of different loops. Let's see, I like this one, but let's see if I like this one more. I do, I just like that one more. Yep, we're gonna go and render one like that. They don't always, it doesn't have to stick to the same scheme. As long as the animation is the same, that's pretty much most important. So we'll go ahead and render that. Alrighty, so I got that one done. So before we do anything, let's make sure we remember Don't want to forget to copy over. So go 0.3, enter. Let's do our third and final composition. So I'm wanting to go funky with this one. We're going to do something weird. So let's click back over to our material or our modifiers here. And with our outside cage one, if we click replace original, it brings that whole, so the whole thing is now filled in, and then there's just the wireframe bumping up from it. So now the whole thing is applying our emission material right here, this whole thing. We don't want that. So let's click out of it. So now we can't see anything. Now if we click right here, this is again the whole entire cage. Let's turn the metallic all the way up. So now we can see a little bit. It's reflecting a tiny bit. And now let's turn our roughness all the way down. And we're getting that. So now, if we add another, let's add our emission again. So right here we can click emission. And let's say, I think we had it on 50. Won't matter, it'll be a new composition, so it doesn't have to be exact same type of illumination, same strength. See how we don't see anything though? There's literally nothing popping up. It's because we need to go back to our wire modifier. And if we click material offset, now the material offset is applying to that second one, and now we can see the whole thing. So it's going to the second material in our materials is applying to the wireframe modifier. You can see it all. That looks super sick. So I'm thinking I'm just gonna keep it like that. I like those colors. And I'm just gonna change the inside of the skull like this. And let's see if we can even pump it up to 500. I like it. I like it. We're doing it. Boom. All right, and then we already changed this to 0.3, so I'm not gonna tape over. Here we go, render our last one. Alrighty guys, so that's our last one done right there. First, you should have 3 perfect seamlessly looping animations that'll work for you. Push play and it just cycles right over. Boom. Alrighty, so yeah, you should have an animation similar to this one. We just went through it together. If you'd like me to do a tutorial on Premiere Pro, how you can throw this in there and make like a music visualizer, I can totally do that. Just comment down below if that's something that would be interesting. This is one clip that I just edited with lots of different effects as the song went on, so we can go through how to do that. Yeah, shout out Dr. Higuchi, and if you want to give me a follow on Instagram, I'd super appreciate it. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope that you found any of this informative or semi-interesting. Please comment down below anything I can do better to make this more clear. If there's anything that bothers you, anything I did wrong. Yeah, please like, comment, subscribe. Please be my first subscriber. If we can get to 5, that's the goal, 5 subscribers, that'd be sick. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate your time. Have a good day.
Is mayonnaise an instrument?